So another film where I was non-stop seeing the same trailer over and over again to the point where I was getting sick of it. But it had James McAvoy in it, who's one of my favorite actors currently working. And on top of that, it's a remake of a pretty bleak European thriller film. So my curiosity was definitely piqued.
Out here, you're neither predator nor prey.
I need you to be brave. You guys have been...
Just a breath of fresh air. Oh, well, that is very sweet of you to say.
Speak No Evil. When an American family is invited to spend the weekend at the country estate of a charming British family they befriended on vacation, what begins as a dream holiday soon wraps into a snarled psychological nightmare. So yeah, first things first, I think the biggest standout of this film above all else is James McAvoy. And yeah, I'm biased, I think he's one of my favorite actors, but I think this film cements that and why I'm right, in my opinion. He's really chews up the scenery. I think he does a great job at being intimidating, demented, but as well as being kind of charming, charismatic, and bringing even a sense of humor with that demented nature that comes with the character and the story, and not in a way that comes off as tone deaf, but in a way that feels authentic to being in a very uncomfortable situation with somebody that you're not really sure how they are. They might have some screws loose, you know? And I think that was definitely intentional. I think it worked, but it didn't go too overboard. You can kind of chuckle or laugh, but there was still that sense of dread right there, clear as day. And like the original film, I think this one, Speak No Evil, does a good job of really building suspense and anxiety, a sense of dread and horror, but with very little to no violence in the film. I mean, for most of the film, it's really just relying on blocking, performances, and of course, the script, obviously, or at least not until the end, at least. It's really just kind of the characters slowly starting to see that something's off with these people, that they might be in danger. On top of that, and it's aided by this film I think has really good cinematography, as well as using mise-en-scène to create a very eerie atmosphere, even to the point where there's actually a shot in the movie that's kind of comes out like from Long Legs, where you're looking at the background and it's like a blink and you miss it, and you might see something. If you do see it, it's unsettling. But yeah, I do think the wide angles and the mise-en-scène, I think they play a really good job of conveying a very gritty, eerie scenario and setting. Biggest critique, however, that I have with the film is the ending and climax. It's certainly a lot more Hollywood than the original, which is very bleak and to the point thematically about polite society. However, that actually was my biggest gripe in this film. I was kind of expecting a Hollywood ending, and I was ready for it. I didn't mind it. I'm not gonna act pretentious to say, oh, I hated it. My biggest critique actually was that it just felt really drawn out, because in the ending climax, it gets really kinetic, and that's where a lot of the action happens. There's a lot of sense of desperation. But the editing and pacing, it feels like they're still trying to draw it out like it's a slow burn. So it kind of comes to a point where it feels very played out, redundant, contrived, gratuitous even. I think they could have easily shortened it up, and the pacing and editing could have reflected that kinetic desperation where everything's just falling apart and all hell's breaking loose in the story. I mean, there were definitely some scenes and sequences in my head I'm thinking they could have cut that out and the flow would have been better and you wouldn't have lost anything, in regards to either story or the emotions that the filmmaker's trying to convey to you, I think. So yeah, if you're a big hardcore horror thriller enthusiast, the ending's probably gonna disappoint you. I think if you're a big fan of the original one, you're definitely not gonna like the ending. But for a mainstream audience, right, if you feel like you're neither of those, you're gonna like the movie, and I don't think the ending's gonna bother you that much. Regardless, I do think Speak No Evil is a respectable thriller with amazing performances, so I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars out of 5.
Remember that time you guys came to stay? You flipped out and tried to leave without saying goodbye?
Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you plan on seeing Speak No Evil this weekend. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. I'll see you next time.